Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. And I'm back again with another Tower of God full spoilers. This time it's episode 166 of season 2 upwards. I'm actually going to cut this off at episode 170. So we're catching it up with the train about to take off from Wooden Horse Station. As you can see, the rattle starts and Vincent has just met up with Iwa and Wagner, and he tells them he's a bit hungry. Now we see Wagner is totally petrified, and then we see that they hand over the crocodile snacks to Vincent. And at this point we see that he just wanted regular snacks. He doesn't eat souls like White. Now why doesn't he eat souls like White? The reason is quite simple. He's all about defense. He isn't one of those kill everybody for no reason individuals. He's a very reasonable side to the person who is White in a way. Now the reason why I said he is a reasonable side in a way is because in fact the siblings should have some pull on the skills that White can use. When he taps into their souls, he can use their skills. That's how come he can use all of the spells that Anna can use, and why he can do so many things as White. Now we see that Daniel is trying to delay time for the unification of White because he needs to make sure that all parts of the soul agree to the terms of resurrecting Rowena, because Rowena is now entwined with them. There is a way for them to do it, right? There is a possibility that they can take out a soul from their collective, provided the soul hasn't intertwined with them. Unfortunately, we find out later that Rowena intertwined with them, and that is how come she joined the last sister. Now, we never get to meet the last sister. Just by the way, the majority of that personality is Rowena, and that is because she sacrificed herself into this whole situation. That's how it is. Okay, so here we have the whole cruel story of Bam fighting all the Guardians. Bam fighting all the Guardians is a way for him to improve himself, and one of the things that he's going to be restricted in is he can't use the Thorn. If he keeps using the Thorn, all the power that he gains is going to be pointless. Also, by going through this training, he's actually going to end up stabilizing his body slowly over time. Remember, Hua Ruijun is looking ahead. She can't see the future of the train. However, she can see the future ahead of the tower. And provided she keeps seeing these blotches where she can't see a path, or the paths are now starting to just change rapidly all the time, she knows that Bam is involved in that situation. The other person who has an effect on the tower in a similar way is Rachel. Wherever she shows up, the same thing happens. And now with her in possession of Emily, this effect is growing wider and more irregular. Emily can change the parts that are already there. That's the only thing that you can do. So yeah, that's one thing to note about this here. So we see Monterey and the rest of AK's team are just sitting back and watching Bam fight the Guardian Yacome. Yacome is one of the Guardians who is the best, who is very strong at physical combat. However, he uses a spear because he sits across a bridge. Makes it easier for him to be a danger. We see Bam uses reverse flow control on his spear, and now we find out that Yacome is actually a close quarters combatant and they are fighting each other. Yacome takes advantage of the injury that Bam already sustained, hitting him where he is weak. And next we get Team Barrow, Rock, and we get Bullseye Elliot and this whole situation where they're going to kill one of the members of Team Barrow. Now, this here is what sparks Team Barrow to actually fight and try to kill White in the end. This is how come they were so determined to join the team. However, later on, when Idade finds out about Bam and sees his powers, she decides she's going to keep following him. And the reason is he has something that the Blossom family want that could allow them to get what they want further up the tower. There is something very important to note. So we know that they want something from Bam. And it's quite possible that the Blossoms are one of the families who hate Jahad the most from the 10 great families. It is quite possible. They also vary against the princess program. They pretty much an anti-Jahad family from the 10 great families. So here we have White facing Vincent, and now Wagner is going to interfere, and he's going to suck Vincent away from White, forcing the whole situation to go in his favor. Now, had they kept Vincent in the White Heavenly Mirror, things would have been very different later on down the line. I know that I'm saying a lot of things that are in the future tense, and they may not even hold 100% of the easiest way to move forward with the story, but that's just the way that it is. Okay, sorry about that. I just had to stop for a second. Some important emails came through. Sorry about that. Anyway, here we go. So we're entering into this craziness here. So Baam manages to beat Yakom, and he ends up going through a special path where he's going to have to fight the Guardian. Now, the reason why they went through it is the Guardians can give them special items or give them a nice challenge. It's a good thing in both ways for Baam. However, it takes time off the path that they're on. Now, Baam has crossed a very large amount of that path in a very short time, so he's not going to get kicked off the train. However, the big catch is that he ends up spending a lot of time here, which ends up really shortening the amount of time he has to reach the showdown on the other side of the train. So he ends up pushing really hard all of a sudden at the end, and he ends up in the fight with White after having pushed really hard to clear the last part through. And that's how come he ends up so late. And here we have the God of Guardians. Now, the God of Guardians, as we know, has trained all of the members of the 10 great families. He is the original instructor who taught them how to use their special irregular powers inside the tower. Okay, so here we go. The God of Guardians is going to jump down, and Baam is actually going to stand his ground against him. And as Sachi and Burrow speak about this along with AKA, every other team who has fought the God of Guardians has been wiped out instantly by him. Now, in some ways this is going to be special, in some ways this isn't going to be special. So we see that Baam says he feels a lot similar to Yurik. And there's he jumping down to face Baam. So we see that he figured out that Baam is an irregular, and immediately he shrinks down in size, and he's gonna grab Baam and take Baam for training. and there's it is going to pull him into the rice pot, and now they're going to end up going for the whole meditation training. Now, this whole revolution, why it's so special, it's actually reminiscent of the cultural societies in the East. This is all of your Asian countries. This is Japan, Korea, China, parts of Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, all of those Middle Eastern countries. Even India and so forth are also part of that same coalition of this type of revolution. They believe meditation is going to be something that helps you acknowledge who you are internally. It helps you find out where your weaknesses and strengths are. It cleans up your mind, and by cleaning up your mind and making sure that you know what you are, whether you are meant to be a monster or meant to be a devil or an angel or whatever it is internally, you understand what you are and who you're going to be. You aren't convoluted by believing yourself to be something greater. And at the end of the day, by following what you learn about yourself internally, you have access to greater power and greater means of ascending in real life. That's the way that it works. It's a real weird mythology. I'm saying that it's a weird mythology, but it's actually a practice that a lot of people do, especially in Buddhism. They believe you empty your vessel and take in more knowledge. And by emptying your vessel, you take the knowledge into yourself and make it a part of you permanently. That's how you do it, to make yourself a better vessel. That way you can keep acquiring more and more knowledge, and you can learn enlightenment. And enlightenment is the state in which you can do almost anything. That's basically what this revolution is. And it's on a very fast road, and that special container, the rice pot, is actually helping with it. Now, I'm not really going to talk much about White and his siblings right now. I'm going to leave that for the big surprise when they finally fully merged later on. I have spoken quite a bit about them and that they each had their own special talents. Oh, there's Yuri jumping on board. And I will be getting into this here right now. Yuri getting onto the train is a special condition. The only reason she managed to get onto the train as it crossed through floors was because she had Evan and she had Rapalista's opera helping her. The opera is called the All-Seeing Eye, and it gave her the perfect timing to move into the Hell Train. She managed to pass into the Hell Train when it was passing between floors. So they literally crossed paths and she managed to enter at the right moment. It's her unique physical abilities that allows this type of transaction to occur, and that's how come Yuri managed to get onto the Hell Train. Okay, so here we go with Bam sinking into himself. We see that Bam is in this endless mechanical landscape in the start, right? And then eventually he finds this talking monster in here, and this monster is called the power of the Emperor. It is the ability to step over all things by domination, and that is one of the powers that is held within Bam. Now, here is the big catch with meditation and all of these things for evolution. The first thing you have to come to terms with is the power that you have. You can't say that your power is all for good, right? You can't say that your power is all for evil. You must know its purpose. Then you can decide how you will use it. You will decide whether your character suits the way the power is being used, whether you are being used by others, or whether you're going to go with your own fruition. You're going to submit to your own will. That's what eventually Bam learns to do. However, by discovering what power is within him, he's capable to resist the urge. For anybody who's a fan of Naruto or Dragon Ball Z, this is like learning the spirit bomb. You empty yourself of all your evil thoughts and you allow yourself to gain the energy for a spirit bomb. If you have evil in your heart, remember that's something which we talk about in Dragon Ball Z, and you try to touch the spirit bomb, it will explode on you. So yeah, that's the big catch with it. Now what Bam is doing is a similar type of training. Internally, he's interacting with the power that he naturally has occurring within him, the power of the Emperor. Unfortunately for this interaction, while Bam is interacting with the Emperor is actually just a figment of the power that's within him. This figment comes from the power that he has to dominate all things around him. It is not a figment of the thorn. Remember, Bam just keeps stuffing things down here within him, and those all become part of his power. Later on, we see him do the whole thing where he makes that white line and he fills that as his power. Unfortunately, it doesn't last very long, and when he uses it, it burns out very, very quickly. He then learns to do this here through Evan Cal's training, and when he's done with Evan Cal's training, he learns to be more proficient with the power that he has, allowing him to grow at an even more alarming rate. Remember, Bam still isn't yet 100% stable with the Thorn. He can go even further, and once the Thorn is 100% complete, he most probably will be able to use his power for an even longer period of time. Rachel is trying to manipulate White, just for by the way, by cutting Daniel out of his own contract and getting White to side with her. The whole idea that she has is she wants White to become her weapon so that she can use him to achieve her own goals. And she will help White use the Thorn by using herself as a vessel for the Thorn. So White can put them down and she can just finish them off with a stab. And here is Yuri doing something reckless. She shows up in front of Pedro and she's asking for the regular name, the 25th Palm. The reason she's capable of doing this is because she's going to use the name of Jahad. If the Jahad family knows the irregular is around, they would do something irregular to try and find him. However, being on this train is a very, very odd coincidence, so Pedro already knows that something is up. Remember, this train is only for D-class regulars. He also knows that the train is shut out from the outside world, and he threatens to expel Yuri because he believes she is on the train illegally. Now, she is on the train illegally and he could expel her. However, at the end of the day, she manages to make a bet with him, and he thinks that just because she can't use her Shinsu, he's going to win. He didn't take into account that Yuri was considered one of the top rankers in the tower, someone who a Slayer would need to fight, and he's just a Slayer subordinate. He thinks that just the weapon that he has from ancient times is going to make the difference in a fight. Ends up not being the case, and Yuri absolutely destroys his purple Dementor Observer. So yeah, that's the whole story with this section. I did spoil a little bit into the future for this particular storyline. However, this is the whole craziness that's going on here. The next thing to note is that Repalista is in direct contact with them even while they're on the train, where all of the connections are severed. This is the odd thing about it, and that is one thing that Repalista can do. The only other person who has an odd power that is penetrating the train is Emily. Shockingly enough, Emily is still connecting to people outside the train while she is on the train with Rachel and the rest of her team. So yeah, that's about it. Catch you all in the next one. Have a good day.